Everyone, thank you for joining our webinar today, where we'll be discussing a new method of configuring instrumentation. And our guest panelist today is Greg Harker. Greg is the Honeywell Solutions Consultant for Field Instrumentation, and he has over 30 years of experience with working with instrumentation, either with Honeywell or a variety of other companies. I am Jim Haldeman. I am the Business Development Manager here at Lessman for Instrumentation. And just as a reference point, Greg and I have worked together or on our own over many, many years using previous methods of communication with instruments, right? We both used laptops, we both used handhelds, HART modems, Ethernet cables, whatever was required. So both of us have a lot of experience with using, current or older technologies. So, when we saw this new instrument, it was kind of nice because we've both been in the field and struggled ourselves with using current handhelds for a variety of reasons. So, so really that's who we are. That's what we're about. And the goal today is to just educate you and update you with a new method that Honeywell has for configuring instrumentation. It doesn't have to be a Honeywell instrument, it can be anyone's instrument for that matter. So with that being said, I'm going to just change my slide deck. So if you would just be patient for 1 second while I go to the slide deck we're going to use. And at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Greg and let him discuss the Versatilis configuration tool. So with that, Greg, it's all yours.
Thank you. This looks like what I was hoping you were going to show everything. So we're going to talk about the Versatilis Configurator, a new Honeywell tablet configuration tool. So this is to replace handhelds that have been around for many years. Specifically, probably everybody remembers HART handhelds and some others that do other codes. But Jim, if you'll hit the next slide, we'll get started. So this is a tablet-based configurator, the Versatilis. There's two tablets there, a Windows tablet or a Android version tablet, and an interface box. But it's a new configure, kind of a next generation hardware and software device that comes together as a nice kit with a smart app that makes things a lot easier for the end user. And specifically, when you buy this kit, you really have everything you need, not just at the moment but for down the road. You don't have to buy any add-ons or subscriptions or anything later. So,
Greg, can I just pause you 1 second? Oksana, can you hear Greg?
Yes, I can hear Greg just fine.
Okay, good. I just wanted to double check. So I'm sorry to interrupt. I didn't want to go through this and not have anybody be able to hear him. So Greg, please continue.
All right, so let's go to the next slide. We're going to kind of go through the device and the hardware and software, and then give a chance to ask some questions and that sort of thing. So old handhelds, there's different tools for different communication options. So you have to carry multiple tools. Generally, they had small interfaces, just text-driven for the most part, small displays. So a handheld with some DDs on it that, you can communicate, but you had to manipulate a lot of buttons, and you only see a limited number of parameters at one time. So the tablet kind of gets around all that.
One of the things I'll interject here too from firsthand experience is, sometimes too, Greg, right? You're talking to this device, the length of the cable that you have, for your HART modem or whatever it is, it's only so long, right? So many times, you're at a control panel, you're at an instrument or whatever, and if you're using a laptop, you're where you set the thing, you're limited with regards to where you can work because you've only got 10 feet or 8 feet or 6 feet, whatever your modem cable happens to be. So you're kind of a prisoner as to where you could actually do the job, right? And I know for me personally, many times I'll have to bring a table with me, and I'll bring a table and set it up because I got to put my laptop within proximity of, in this case, it was an enclosure, right? So that I knew that I could clip onto it, right? So it just made more things necessary, more things I had to bring with me, and things that I could potentially forget that just caused a little stress. So those are my thoughts there. So
Yeah, good point. I think there's something else if you advance there over on the right. Yeah, and one of the things I said before is that, some of the other versions you had to get updates or have a subscription to get new drivers for it and cost extra money. So with the Honeywell version, that doesn't cost you extra money. You can always get the drivers that you need. Whenever they're released and available, you can get them and there's no add-on cost. So it's one tool for different operations. It's a smart device, so it's a tablet, and you can actually use a tablet that already exists if you would like to do that and load the app on it. We'll sell the tablet in a Windows or an Android version, or you can use an existing tablet. You have to get a wireless connection to get the app and that sort of thing, but you're used to that sort of thing. So it's multiple solutions, and there's just the app kind of takes care of everything. So we can update the app periodically and get you the new drivers that come out. We can make upgrades to the app to make it, nicer features based on feedback from users, that sort of thing. So on the left side, lower left, there are a couple different tablets, a Windows and an Android version. The Windows is a little larger. The tablet itself physically is a little larger, a little bigger screen. That's the one that I've kind of taken around and shown some people. The solution here, this tablet solution, Versatilis, is Class 1 Div 1 rated. So there is a Class 1 Div 2 Android, I believe, but either one could be Class 1 Div 1. And then with the modem that's on the right, with the Bluetooth connection between the configurator tablet and the modem, there's a hardwire cable that connects to a transmitter. Here we show a Honeywell pressure transmitter. That could be anybody's transmitter. That could be a flow meter. That could be a valve. It could be whatever that talks HART or Honeywell DE, or we actually have a Modbus communications option that we will add to this product down the road sometime in the future.
So Greg, here it shows the little modem connected directly to the transmitter, but I'm assuming you could also just be in the control room at the panel, and then you could be sitting at your desk with your with your tablet, and then just move this wires from jumper to jumper on the instruments as you go through your setup, correct?
Yeah. So if it's harder DE, you can do it at the control panel, input card, anywhere there's voltage drop, a display or anything. So that's one of the nice things about HART is it doesn't have to be at the instrument. It can be other locations. And so that's still an option with this device.
Right.
So
good.
we're convenient, but you don't have a hardwire connection between the tablet and the modem, the square modem there. So that's
right.
a good thing, is you can be quite a distance away from the modem and still communicate.
Right. So just some personal history here. So I did this with Greg. We actually played with the demo, and I was curious to see if it would recognize a lot of instruments other than, say, Honeywell, right? So we actually experimented with this, and it did work quite nicely, actually, where without actually going and finding any of the device descriptors for any of the instruments, we just basically terminated this device to the instrument that we were looking at, and it recognized it, which was quite honestly for me kind of a revelation, because I'm used to using other types of software where you actually have to tell the software what it is you're connecting to, right? And that's just one other level of understanding you need to be aware of, right? Whereas this actually finds the instrument and says, oh, I recognize that, this is what it is, right? So for me, that was kind of an moment. So should I go to the next screen, Greg?
auto recognizes those transmitters, like you said. And the other thing is that because the app includes all of the device drivers, the DDs for HART or for Honeywell DE instruments, it recognizes it automatically, and it has the driver already for it. So if when you download the app, you get a complete list of HART DDs and all the Honeywell DDs. So the HART DDs come through the HART Foundation, I think 4 times a year, something like that. So when you download it, you get all the current DDs that are out there for all these various instruments, and you don't have to go find a new one, or you don't have to, update them one at a time or manufacture at a time. So that's a good thing. The app is free, and the app can be updated, from year to year or whatever to get the latest release from the HART Foundation to have all those devices included. But it's a free app. It's always going to be free, and you get all the HART devices and all the Honeywell DE devices.
Do you have the ability, Greg, then to save configurations? Like if I calibrate a specific transmitter and it's level transmitter 101, do I have the ability to save that file in any method that I could store and then get it later?
Yes, so you can store it on the configurator or on the tablet, I guess, and then by name or tag number or whatever. And you can also take that and push it into a new device. So if you have a number of them that are the same except for maybe the tag number, you could store one and push it out to new devices and change the tag number, and you'd be up and running.
Great.
There's an online and an offline mode. I think we'll see that in some of the slides later on.
Okay. Should I move forward with the slides?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay.
So the product, like we said, is this modem. It's all HART DDs included in the driver, but so it's HART and DE, which are somewhat similar, and then we'll add the Modbus. Like I said before, the Class 1 Div 1 version, a Windows and Android, or a Division 2. And then the screen, the third shot there is kind of screenshots of what you see on the tablet, some of the interfaces. So we'll get into some of those later. But it's fairly simple. It all comes with the app. All the screens are generated. The DDs drive more screens that show you individual parameters on each transmitter, for example. So pretty simple and straightforward for a user. And then on the right side there are the carrying case and the accessories. So you have cables that come with it, a strap to hang it. The modem runs off of some rechargeable AA batteries, and so there's a charger that comes with it. There's charger cables for the tablet. It's kind of a nice little package that's pretty compact. You can fit a lot of what you need to take in the field all into one little carrying case that's maybe, I don't know, it's about 9 or 10 inches long and 8 inches wide, 3 inches, 4 inches deep. Nice little package.
Greg, it looks like on that COM interface, there's an icon on the left there, which is that your battery power, so that you would know when you need to do you replace the batteries in those, or is that a rechargeable battery?
They are replaceable, rechargeable batteries. So we with the kit, you get 2 sets of batteries, so you can be recharging one while you're running the other. And the batteries pop out of the box.
Great.
Out the back of that box, there's just one screw that holds the cover on, and you can easily pop them out and replace them. So there's the back side. It has a clip on the back side of the modem, so you can literally hang it on something. There's a strap that you can tie it onto something, like you see in the middle section there. So you just kind of hold it up, put the cables onto the transmitter, leave the modem there. So it's a nice usable package. And then the Bluetooth connection to the tablet is up to 40 or 50 meters away, so that the device will talk Bluetooth to the modem and then cable from the modem to the transmitter.
Great.
Hardwire cables. So here's an example where maybe you want to troubleshoot something out in the field, and with this device, you can actually buy multiple modems have them connected to multiple transmitters and switch between the modems so that you can talk. So if you had 3 different devices you want to communicate with and see how they interact with each other, maybe how a valve position changes the pressure or flow rate or whatever, instead of having one device and having to physically move around from transmitter to transmitter over some distance, it's possible to take one tablet and multiple modems then, and to you can only talk to one modem at a time, but you can connect to maybe the valve and change the valve position and look at the pressure, by switching to the second modem, and looking at the flow rate by switching to the third modem, or going back to adjust the valve. So various things like that to kind of more quickly see the interaction. Because you can tag into multiple modems, this is a little quicker. A traditional handheld would force you to make a connection, then you go through the menu, your little screen to the parameter, and then disconnect and go to the other transmitter. So this just allows you, if you want to do something to see the interactions, some customers will buy multiple modems and do it that way.
Great. So to be clear though, because we experimented with this a little bit, you can see all the variables, but you can't get DTEs on this device, right? So you can't say, for example, see echo profiles for a level application if you're used to seeing that on other programs where you have DTEs. This is only for DEs, correct?
Yes, like if anybody's familiar with Packware uses DTNs and some graphics screens. And so this does not have some of that capability. Like that was a good example that Jim used, the echo curves on a guided wave radar, for example, where that's all done via HART, but it's done at a fairly slow rate because HART is slow to generate some echo curves and to evaluate the echo that's coming back from the signal. That is not part of this because it's not in the HART device driver file. You can configure the device, the guided wave radar, but you cannot see the echo curve screens, for example. That's just a difference between DDs and DTMs.
Yep. Yeah, I want everyone to understand, what it can and can't do, right? So that's why I wanted to.
There are some device to actually graph out the primary variable and the secondary variable. I think the second or third and fourth, so you can make some graphics of the output variables, but that's about as far as it goes with graphics. It doesn't have what you might be used to for guided wave radar or radar devices.
Right. Yeah. So sometimes we like to use those features for troubleshooting, right? So this could be, I'd say, light troubleshooting, but more for configuration and setup primarily. Would that be a safe statement, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the values that here, it increases productivity. It just takes less time. You have a much larger screen, a lot more parameters on a page, just drop-down menus, things that they're used to on any laptop, for example, and it's pretty quick to
I would think too, Greg, that one of the big advantages would be, is if you hire young personnel coming to the plant or even older personnel who are going to maybe change the way they do things, the learning curve on this is pretty short because people are used to using apps on their phones right now to do a lot of other things. And, this is all push button, click of, right? It's much more intuitive, I would think, than maybe what people have used in the past. And for me, that means people can get educated quickly and start to do their jobs faster.
Yes, it is very intuitive. There's no manual per se with this device. There's a lot of help screens when you go into different parameters. We have a little information icon, and you can click on it or hover over it to get information about the parameter that you're trying to change, and if you're not sure what it is or what the options are. And there is a kind of I won't call it a manual, but there's a help function in the app itself where you can go read more about various functionality on the device, but no manual per se like a PDF or anything like that that's
Yeah.
get with it. And for the
So I was
most
just
part,
thinking about
users don't use them.
something else you'd said too, and I'm very familiar with using a lot of HART modems hardwired to an instrument, right? And then you do one, and then you got to jump to another, and you gotta go in. And so what you said earlier about having multiple, these Wi-Fi transmitters, if you had a couple, 2, 3 of those, you could literally go from one instrument to the next, communicate from 1 to 2 to 3, and you wouldn't have to change any wires. You don't have to monkey around with that anymore. And I can tell you from firsthand experience too, the more you're messing with wires on the back of a terminal strip or on the back of a transmitter or whatever, the more susceptible you are to get loose connections, bad connections, affecting another wire that you didn't even know you touched when you're in the back of a control panel, right? So these are all things that can lead to some frustration. So that is, to me, a pretty sizable benefit to using something like this. So
Right. And then I covered the flexibility of different communications protocols, HART and Honeywell DE. We'll add Modbus to that. That modem has some Modbus functionality into it. We don't have the software in the app yet for Modbus, and I'm not sure exactly the functionality on that or how it'll work. I'm familiar with Modbus, but I'm not sure exactly what that'll look like in the app. So that's 3 protocols.
We know there's a few instruments that that we sell that don't have HART, right? They are only Modbus. So I'm assuming that's where something like this would come into play. But right now, if a customer would purchase this, it would be fully functional for anyone who's got HART, as well as any legacy Honeywell DE stuff that people haven't been able to find anything to really, because that DE previous configurator has been obsolete now for a couple of years. So this is the path forward for that, right?
Yes, it's the path forward. So class 1 div 1 safety, is built in, and really because when you buy it, you don't have any added on costs. It'll use standard the AA rechargeable batteries. So you lose batteries or they wear out, you can always get commercially available batteries. So this is a close-up of the interface. The interface has a power button that'll light up. It would also have a battery light there, indicators that will tell you when your batteries in the interface are running low so that you can replace those. When you're connected to the modem, the blue light comes on, so the Bluetooth connection goes from blinking to solid when you actually make a connection from the tablet to the laptop. And then you can use the arrow button to toggle between HART, DE, and Modbus, or Modbus in the future to toggle between those protocols. And then it just has standard leads, banana plugs or banana jacks in the modem itself, so that we provide leads, but if you break one or lose one, it's standard leads, standard batteries, everything that's easy to find, easy to make to find replacements for. Here's a picture of the tablets again. If you have a Windows tablet, I kind of prefer those because of the screen size. You can save a little money on a class 1 div 2 Android version. It's not a whole lot of difference, to be honest. Android makes a nice tablet. It's a little more rugged around the edges, so it's probably, can drop it on the floor a few more times. These things are going to be in places where they take a beating, I imagine, but either one would work. The app is available in the stores, both to get the download for it, and like I said, it's just a complete download, everything you need. So here's the app, and when it opens up, you'll see an online configuration and diagnostics, which is normally the first thing that people use. You can connect to a transmitter, go online. It automatically connects. It brings up menus with drop downs. I think there's some of those coming up later. The offline configurator, I was going to talk more on the one.
Oh, I'm sorry, I can back up.
Slide. Can I? Because it showed the offline.
Okay.
It's showing the offline mode that you saw there, or that you talked about earlier, an offline configuration. So you can select a transmitter version and configure it offline and save it, and then go online and load the configuration as well. There's a way there to manage DDs and packages, so you can get a new app with it, or if manufacturer XYZ comes out with new drivers and it's not available through the HART Foundation yet, sometimes they'll put them on their website. You can pull them off and you can pull those into the tablet and use those. So a lot of different functionality there. Simulation modes, some settings for the app, which generally don't have to do a whole lot with, and then help and diagnostics. That would be because there's no manual, if you need some more help screens, that's where you would get help from.
So with that simulation, is almost like doing a loop test, right? Where you could simulate like the.
Yeah, I think it has it in there, and it also has it in like the online version. There is a way to go in online and do some simulations in there as well.
Okay, nice.
And then on the right side, this shows like multiple modems. So this is one of the screens that comes up when it searches for modems. If it sees more than one modem, it'll show you all the modems that are available for connection, and you just select one and connect to it.
Nice.
Not sure if there's a limit on modems or not. I've seen it connected to, or it was recognized as many as 3 and 4, and certainly does that. These are some of the basic screens in the online mode. So your tag number, this is like on the left, the first screen, tag number and the PV and the secondary and third variables, I guess. I'm struggling with seeing this on the phone.
Yeah, no problem. Again, it's just trying to show, I guess, that these, if you're used to using apps, right? That's easy to click on. I mean, you set everything, your degrees Fahrenheit, degrees Celsius. I mean, it's that easy, right? I mean, if you have to click a button on my cell phone and have it start to smoke, so things tend to work.
Yeah, so there's the upper range limit, lower range limit. The little blue eye with the circle, the icon, that's, if you go to those, you can get more information. Like some of these parameters, you may not remember what some of them are, or there might be specific to that device. You can always get kind of a little help screen that's built into those. So that's really nice.
Again, just, I guess, sorry, I'm getting a little premature with my finger clickage, but looks like there's a maintenance portion too, where you can see if there's any alarms and such, I would assume.
Yeah, if there's alarms, you can generally click on the red alarms up top. I think it even takes you to a list of alarms so that you can see. If you have a green light, it behaves normal. There's critical alarms and there's kind of non-critical alarms. So to differentiate between the two, non-critical doesn't cause measurement errors, but good screens for diagnostics, troubleshooting. I guess that's just like a screen of apps that are.
It looks like where you would search, to find the apps in the,
on
the
the
Google Store. Yeah, on the tablet.
So. Right now, well, Honeywell does have a wireless transmitter. We provide transmitters and field devices that will communicate ISA100 as well as WirelessHART into the same field management device. So we will eventually have this modem that will work in a safe zone to configure to provision the wireless transmitter. That is a future product as well. That's not available right now. It says it's only available with the Android there, I think. Support for Windows 10 coming in the future. So that's just for those of you, if anybody has wireless devices, it will function to provision those as well in the future. You know, it says shipping in November. We're already shipping these. We've Jim, I think you have demos, and everybody's been ordering demos and selling.
Yep.
Some of the key customers, because like Jim said, I think we have not had a configurator available for a little period of time. We're out of inventory on the others, but it's out there. It's ready. It's really kind of the ease of use of the device, and you know, not having to buy upgrades, I think makes it a really good product. Really something that down the road you're going to use for a long time.
Yeah, for me, for me, really, Greg, too. It's our industry is hiring younger people. We're kind of backfilling with younger people, and they've always been they're used to using apps. So any new product that's introduced really needs to have something that they're used to using, right? And it's apps, and it's so easy to use. And you know, anyone who's developing something today that doesn't incorporate this type of technology, I just believe is missing the beat. So
when I take it out and
I'm sorry,
I take it out to show it to people, and they just take it and run with it. You know, once you know how to turn everything on, you know, it's pretty intuitive. You can't go wrong with it, really.
Yeah. No, like I said before, we all use a lot of apps on our phones, and I've yet to click an app on my phone and have my phone start to smoke or break, right? Worst case scenario is it gets dizzy and you turn it off and turn it back on and everything seems to work, right? So there's really nothing to be afraid of. And so, yeah, my endorsement is when I played with Greg's demo, and we just went to a variety of instruments and it automatically knew what I was talking to. For me, that was leaps and bounds ahead of anything else I'd seen before. So with that being said, I was monitoring a little bit the questions. No one's typed a question. Of course, I've been asking a lot of questions myself. Maybe they're thoughts that you folks might have had. So if anyone, I guess, would like to ask a question, or raise your hand possibly. If not, if you have questions that you'd like to ask offline, feel free to contact myself at jimh@lessman.com, and just reference the Versatilis webinar and ask your questions. Be more than happy to get back to you directly, and if we need to have Greg follow up, we certainly will. So Greg, did you have anything else to add?
No, I think that kind of covers the basics. Really like to see one. I mean, Jim has them available, right? And
Yep, we do. Yeah, we have a
show and
couple demos.
Oh, show and tell before you buy.
We do have a question. Oksana, if you could open Michael Folsom's.
Michael says, maybe I missed it. Is it possible to get Versatilis licensed on a third-party tablet computer?
Yes, that's possible. The tablet, any Windows or Android tablet can load it. Technically, I think if you have a classified area and want the Division 1 or 2 rating, you have to buy the tablet from us. But it'll be a safe area version if you use your tablet in the, you can't take it into a hazardous area. It's not a system approval that way.
So it's a good question, though. So if you have non-approved areas, then you could use any tablets or anyone's phone, right?
Yes. Exactly. But it's in the download for Android and Apple, Windows, not Apple. So you can get the download easily, and it's always free.
Okay. Sorry, my screen is jumping around here. I don't see any other questions. So I think with that being said, again, you've got my contact information at jimh@lessman.com. Reach out to me if you have any additional questions or thoughts. If not, I think we're done for this afternoon. I want to thank everybody for your time, and enjoy this nice afternoon. Looks like we've got some sunshine, so enjoy it. So I think we'll end it there. So thank you again. Have a nice afternoon. Thanks, Greg.
Thank you, Jim. Bye.
Yep. Bye now.